Greetings and welcome, and here we are on day 13 of the Advent calendar. Unlucky for some, and unluckily for you, it's me opening the window to see what the latest question is on our journey towards Christmas. Well, let's have a look here. We all love war films, so if they were to remake 3 classic movies and ask the 3 of you to star in them, which characters would you see yourself and Nick and Sid play? Why are they perfect for the role? That's a bit of a worrying question, actually. This is the type of question that's clearly designed to tell you more about the person answering it than those that are being talked about. I remember my mother being asked questions like this to see how mad she was before they dragged her off to the cracker factory. Okay, deep breath. Probably best to set some ground rules here. If I declare that I should be playing Napoleon or Alexander the Great, I don't want to be condemned to a padded cell, but at the same time, given the opportunity to cast myself as the hero, it's probably too good a chance to miss. So as long as any psychiatrists listening understand that caveat, let's give it a go. All right, 3 films, 3 starring roles, or maybe 3 roles in 3 films, who knows? Right. Well, I'm diving in with my first option, Cross of Iron. I reckon probably the best war film of all time. I'd definitely cast myself as Rolf Steiner in the lead role of the anti-hero, the grizzled, worldly wise veteran. While I think Sid would definitely make an excellent Maximilian Schell, playing the evil and self-obsessed Hauptmann Stransky, desperate to win the Iron Cross and not caring about the lives of his men. That really is Sid to a T. Both of us are ideal, I think, for those 2 roles. My problem is there's not really a role for Nick. Maybe the James Mason figure, Oberst Brandt, wasn't it? Maybe not. It's a great film, but I'm not sure it's the perfect fit for any of us, really. So let's move on. Maybe we should go for an all-time classic with a nautical theme. In Which We Serve with Noel Coward was the ultimate wartime made, well, propaganda film, if we're honest, made in 1942, set during the Battle for Crete. It's a story largely told through a series of flashbacks, which is really appropriate, actually, because the last 20 years working with Nick and Sid is really a series of flashbacks, moments of sheer horror to moments of incredible humour and mirth. I'm not actually going to take the lead role in this one. I think Sid would make an excellent Noel Coward as Captain Kinross. I'd love to see him do the plummy accent as he dishes up the pink gin. It could be a new side to his character on display. For me, I'd take the role of John Mills. I reckon it's a role I was born to play. Ordinary seaman Shorty Blake. In many ways, playing somebody called Shorty could be considered typecasting, I guess, but I'm not bothered. John Mills went on to create the greatest advert the world has ever seen for Carlsberg, so it's a role that I can see me filling. And then there's Nick. I mean, this time there's a perfect role for him, as played by the young Dickie Attenborough. I could just see Nick below decks when the torpedo strikes, ruining his best underpants and blubbing like a giant baby. But actually, maybe I'm just using my position of power to be willfully unkind and making us all suffer in roles that it might be fun to see us play, but I don't actually think they're ones that we're really best suited to. Actually, in truth, I didn't really need to consider 3 films, as when it comes to Nick and Sid and I, there is one classic war film that was absolutely made for us. It's a tale of bravery, of stiff upper lip, daring do. Yet, unlike so many war films, it's not a hymn to patriotic jingoism, but rather a considered essay on the horrors of war and the emergence of 1 or 2 ordinary individuals who rise above the chaos and uncertainty to fulfil the heroic roles that destiny has set aside for them. It is, of course, Carry On Up the Khyber. This is a film so studded with stars that any one of us could play any of a range of roles. Nick as Brother Belcher in the harem, dressed as an unusually shaped concubine, has a particular appeal to it, of sorts. Sidney as his namesake, Sir Sidney Rough Diamond, having dinner in the Residency. Maybe me as Captain Keen, played by Roy Castle as the love interest in the film, is definitely a role I see myself born to. But no, these are not the roles that I've chosen for us. I actually think Sid's acting talents would be best served playing the role of the Qazi of Calabar, the local Indian ruler attempting to incite rebellion against the Queen. It was a role superbly played by the late and very great Kenneth Williams in the original. And Sidney is the only man who I know who could carry it off in a remake. For me, I'd play the local warlord, Bundit Din, originally played by Bernard Bresslaw, a man of 6'8", who embodied the leader of the Burpa tribe with admirable panache and an edge of naked savagery that I think I could carry off. Well, Nick, who would Nick play? Without doubt, he would be Sergeant Major McNutt of the kilted 3rd Foot and Mouth Regiment, a man who heroically halted the final Burpa charge in the Residency compound with a display that the rebels would not forget. Played, of course, by Terry Scott, the late and not particularly great Terry Scott, who apparently put salt in the sugar bowl. But there we are. Anyway, with a cast with names like Privates Whittles and Private Ginger Hale alongside Major Domo, the cast list reads like a ToloFatLardies game anyway. And whilst it may not be the greatest of war films, I do think it would suit us admirably, and certainly one to watch with a glass of Snowball on Boxing Day as you snooze off the excesses of Christmas.